Okay, so the first thing I want to do is share my screen with you
Hello.
so that we can start going over this. Can everybody see that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. All right. All right. Trying to get that to go away. Doesn't want to. Okay. So again, this is a 4-week training, overview training, and it is for leads, and it is to integrate a lot of the things that we have been providing you over the course of the last year so that you can be successful in the jobs that you do and you can understand these things. So we're going to define some clear expectations for lead success. And I think at the end of this, I'm hoping that we'll be able to create consistency amongst your departments. You'll have a framework for working guidance, and we can replace some of the guesswork with standards, and you will know where those standards are and how to use them and reduce the rework and sometimes the surprises that come in, and especially reduce the stress of being a lead. So just a quick overview before we get into more of the specifics, so that you can take a look at the agenda for the next 4 sessions. So we're going to start week 1, and that's going to be on Wednesdays, and I'm going to go over that schedule in a few minutes. This is people and performance. So this is making sure that your people are capable of doing the jobs that they need to do, and how do you prepare them, and how do you ensure and assess them to ensure that they're doing the job the way they need to so that you have quality and on-time delivery of your product. The second week, we're going to go into process and issues, and this is more or less the stability end of this. And this is where we're talking about, the SOPs, the job instructions, how to resolve issues, problem solving. Week 3 will be inventory and equipment. And week 4 is going to be judgment and integration, and which is going to integrate. It's going to be a capstone, and you're going to be expected to present a small scenario based on some of this stuff that you've seen here. Okay. So for the month's agenda, like I said, week 1, workforce capabilities, employee performance. Week 2, process stability. 3 is ensuring resources. Maintenance and calibration. Week 4 is integration of all of these concepts. So on a weekly basis for the next 4 weeks, starting on Wednesday, we're going to do a 1-hour lunch and learn, and I will get that all set up with the 2 sites so that you can be eating and listening and watching and learning at the same time. And then on Thursdays and Fridays, I'm going to get with you individually. So I will be emailing you or texting you or calling you to find out what's the best time. Now that 30 minutes is a minimum time. If you need more time or more days, I'm always available. But for a minimum, there's 30 minutes. We'll be going over the stuff that we learned on Wednesday, and it'll be very specific to your areas and what you need to know. So for example, if we're going over SOPs and where to find them, we will go over where your SOPs are, what they mean to you, how they work, when you would use them, those sort of things. So the objective of all of this is to understand where your resources are and how to use them. We've provided you resources, but we've never integrated this and really knit it together. And so this is going to do that. You're going to be able to prioritize issues, make more clear, confident decisions. It may be, prevent, problems that are repeatable that maybe we can avoid. Now, a lot of these things that we're going to be talking about, the subjects we're going to be on, there's a lot more to it than what I'm going to be able to provide you in our sessions. But know that if you have questions or if you want further training on any of this, I can put training together and we can work together so that you can have either independent study, or I can provide you articles, videos, or I can talk with you, coach, mentor, train. So just keep that in mind. So a little bit more on week one, the workforce and employee performance. We're going to be going over the documentation hierarchy. That's a big deal. Job descriptions, SOPs, job instructions. The list goes on. How do they all work together, and how do we use them? We're going to go over the learning management system. I'm going to ask Amir to do a section on that so that you really understand how it works and what you use it for. Proficiency. We're going to talk about how we really assess a person to ensure that they're ready to go to that next level and how we handle that in the LMS. Auditing to standards. Again, auditing, assessing. Auditing is kind of a harsh word, I guess, assessing, but ensuring that the people that you're responsible for that are doing the work in your department are doing it to the standards that we've set forth. Because that's one of the big things is that when we do problem solving, when an issue arises, we do problem solving. One of the questions is was the person trained? Were they trained effectively? If they were, then what's the process? What's wrong with the process? So that we can understand both people and processes and attack the issue so that it doesn't come up again. We're going to do training needs analysis. And this again has to do with the LMS system and understanding what people need as far as gaps in their training. Or maybe you have somebody that's going to be on vacation or on maternity leave. You need to train somebody else in their place so that your flow keeps going, right? You don't want the process to stop because somebody had to be on vacation or was absent. We're going to go over the TWI overview, and I think what I'm going to do is provide you a video. I want you all to go back through TWI, and I know some of you have not taken this yet, to ensure that when you're training using that standard, because if you don't, it's kind of garbage in, garbage out. If we don't use that standard, then we can't call it TWI, and it's a very effective way of doing training. And then we're going to go over performance reviews and look at biases and how, sometimes we have to really understand what the other person has done and see their point of view in order to be able to do performance reviews very well. So we're going to go over where those are and how they work. So on week 2, process and issue management. This is where we're going to get into what those SOPs actually say. How nonconformances are, what they are, where the nonconformance forms are, how you use them and when, root cause and corrective action, which goes along with the nonconformances, how to use the problem solving, some quick problem solving tools that we can start to use, how to report an issue rather than just somebody asks you what happened and it's a full-on 15 minutes what you did, how we can break those two things down to something what we call just the 2-minute meeting. So it's just 2 minutes and the problem is out there and decisions can be made. The escalation process, and that's both for verbal, written warnings, and it's also for maintenance. So there's escalation on a lot of different things, but how the escalation system works. And then prioritization. How do we prioritize that work to make sure that we're working on the right things at the moment? Week 3, we're going to talk about inventory and equipment. So I don't know if any of you have heard of 5S housekeeping, but we're going to talk about sort, set, known as standardized, shine, and sustain, and how we keep our areas clean every day when we have a regular schedule for training for cleaning. We're going to talk about what your inventory responsibilities are, and I'm going to have Christina do a short, I'm going to have her give you the things that she really feels are important for you as leads to know. So I'm going to set up with her. I didn't tell her that, so she's probably smiling right now going, oh, thank you.
Got it.
We're going to go into machine maintenance, and that's not, I'm going to teach you how to maintain the machines. It's where you find the maintenance records, where you find the schedule of when things need to be maintained so that you make sure that your machines are on that schedule and are being done either by you or somebody qualified. And I know calibration logs are automated, but how to look at them and how to make sure, if something goes out of calibration, what we need to do as far as an escalation process. On week 4, we're putting this all together. We'll probably go over some loose ends, some things that maybe we didn't get done. I will clarify things. If there's questions, we'll have a Q&A at the beginning of the meeting. And then what I'm going to have you do is a capstone. So it's going to be something where you are going to provide us kind of like a case study. And it's not going to be long. I'm not asking for in-depth, but what tools did you use? How did you use them? What was the outcome? So that's what the lead accountability capstone is going to look like. So you'll explain, what domain, we'll talk about domains, what tools we use, what decisions were made. And of course, when we do it, it's no names. If it happens to be a person, there's a lot of process things out there. But we do have people problems every now and then, people, not knowing training or not feeling well or having other things on their mind that we need to handle. So, however, but we'll talk more about that as we get closer to there. So I'm hoping what you're going to gain from this entire training, all of this, is just a clear expectation of how we expect the tools to be used and how you can use them to make yourself successful. You can make better decisions, you do less firefighting, and have very unbiased talks and really just correspondence with people that you work with every day. So all of that. So this is the big part. I just said garbage in, garbage on. That's really what it is. If you don't engage and you don't ask questions, or you don't try to apply this, or kind of have an open mind to adjusting the habits that you have, then really the training is not going to work. You can communicate with me anytime. And anytime you have issues on any of this stuff, you can call me. We can talk about it. I can provide training. I've got about, 20, I'm going to age myself if I say 25 years of putting programs together, training people, ensuring that they have what they need. So when you put programs, not projects, but programs together, training's a big part of it, making sure that people are happy in the jobs that they're doing, they know what to do. So you can come to me with these things, we can talk about them. And anytime I don't know the answer, I'm going to put you in the direction where you need to be. So I already have an assignment for you for next week. What I'd like you to do is think of an issue that you've had anytime in the past, or anytime maybe recently, that affected your quality, made you have rework, or you had a missed delivery. How did you recognize what the issue was? How did you fix it? And have you had it arise again? And I'd really like it if you really think about those 3 things, and I will send you that information. If you could really think about this and not just come to class and go, oh yeah, let me just make something up, but really kind of think about how do you fix problems? How do you recognize that it's an issue? How do you decide that you're going to escalate it and make it an issue? Maybe it's something that you just, you don't have to worry about it, but maybe you do. So I'd like to see, and I think it helps you to understand how you handle these sort of things. So again, this is about running your area successfully. It's about, being consistent and being confident in what you need to do every day in your daily work.